Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Friday Charge from the Geek podcast. As always, we are your hosts, Joel and Sebastian. And today, April 11th, 2025, we've got a handful of topics on the docket, such as there's a Model Y for regular people, Chargepoint has showed off some new chargers, Toyota has some ambitious EV plans, and a couple more stories. So without further ado, let's plug in and get started. All right, our first topic of the night. Hyundai has announced new price protections. On Friday of last week, Hyundai announced their new Customer Assurance Program, which ensures that customers do not see any price hikes over the next 2 months due to, quote, dynamic market conditions. The pricing protection window is from April 4th to June 2nd, 2025. Hyundai launched a similar program for their Genesis brand, but they gave it a much more marketable name. They called it Genesis Cares. Hyundai recently celebrated the grand opening of their Meta plant in Georgia, which has been tooled to build several of its electric offerings here in the U.S. Hyundai expects the plant to, at full capacity, to produce 500,000 vehicles annually.
Oh, so my turn. This is great news. I mean, we saw something similar with Ford. Hopefully this does something kind of to ease concerns with everything that's going with the tariffs. I mean, one day you have a tariff, the next day you don't. The next day you have a tariff, the next day you don't. Tariff on, tariff off, tariff off, tariff on. Yes, it's like a little dance.
Masterful gambit, sir.
Yes, we should. I'm glad they're doing this. I'm sure we'll see other automakers do this to kind of ease concerns. I mean, we already saw stories like, Land Rover and Jaguar not bringing any cars over to the U.S. right now due to the tariffs. So, Hyundai and Kia have great EV products. They're launching some new ones this year. Read online, the EV6 are starting to hit lots with some stupid discounts. MSRP $36,000 on some of those discounts, like $14,000 off the EV6s right now, on some of these lots right now. And we'll start seeing the Ioniq 9 roll out and things like that. So, excited. And I'm glad they're doing it. Hopefully more automakers will do it too, because what they don't want to do is have a bunch of cars sitting on their lots not selling.
True. All right, moving on. Tesla has launched a Model Y for regular people.
The common folk.
Late last week, Tesla launched the first, quote, non-launch edition of the refreshed Model Y. The current only refreshed Model Y outside of the launch edition that is available is the new long-range all-wheel drive model, which has a starting price of $49,000, which is down from the $60,000 of the launch edition. This car is the same as the launch edition, it just doesn't have all the options already applied. Tesla currently claims new orders of the normal Model Y can be delivered in 1 to 3 weeks. Along with this launch, Tesla is adding a new color to the Model Y and Model 3, Diamond Black. It's just like jet black, but it's sparkly. I don't have a whole lot else to talk about here because, we've already talked about the new Model Y. It's kind of played out, whatever. This is the new Model Y, but it doesn't have the early adopter tax on it.
Yeah, looking at the side profile, it looks like my Model Y is a little bit different in the front and the back. I'm a Model Y owner. I like my Model Y. I love the tech in it. Will I buy another one? Probably not, just because I want something different and new. And I was hoping that with the refresh, it would be more than what this is, but it's not. It's kind of disappointing. I was hoping like for 800-volt architecture. We didn't get that. I was hoping vehicle to load. Didn't get that. So there's several things I was hoping for that other cars are doing that I was kind of wanting. And it kind of concerns me that delivery is 1 to 3 weeks. That's either they're producing things like crazy or the demand is just not there yet. So I guess we'll see coming up in the next couple months at the end of quarter 2 what these numbers look like.
Yeah, and the answer to that depends on who you ask, probably.
Yep. Depends on who you ask and who they like.
If you say one thing, you're a Tesla fanboy, and if you say a different thing, you're a Tesla hater. There is no middle ground, apparently.
Nope.
So.
Yep. Unfortunately.
Moving on.
As a Tesla owner, I get that a lot, So.
Yeah. Moving on, let's talk about something else before we get too far into that. The Ford Power Promise has jumped the pond. Ford launched its Power Promise in the U.S. in late 2024, providing new Ford EV owners with a free Level 2 charger installation of said charger, 24/7 support, roadside assistance, and Ford's standard 8-year 100,000-mile battery warranty. Ford has now announced that they plan to extend the power promise over to the UK. In the UK, Ford will offer new owners of its EVs a free wall charger, installation, a quote, 10,000-mile home energy bonus. Not sure 100% what that is, and I tried Googling it, and Google wasn't very helpful. And then the 8-year 100,000-mile battery warranty. They are also adding a free 5-year service plan and 5 years of roadside assistance. So, see, and it says it there in your article too, a home energy bonus good for up to 10,000 miles.
That's all it says. And then it talks about the partnership with Octopus Energy to get the customers outfitted with cheaper off-peak overnight charge rates for
7 pence per kilowatt hour.
Which is up to 70 cents less expensive. Jesus, that's expensive. So people are jealous of our 13 cents a kilowatt we have here. So, yeah. But before I don't want to digress. I really like that's a really cool picture of the Puma, by the way, on the screen now. That's really cool. I wish we get it here.
Those are good wheels on that car.
I know it's a good wheel. Yeah. That's a really good looking car. Dang, wish we get it here, but we can't. That looks like a Sebastian car right there. It looks like a Sebastian car. Yeah, I mean, this is great. The 4 power promise is great. Like we said before, I'd rather them do this than give free supercharging credits, because then they're just going to sit at superchargers for an hour till they get to 100%. And you've experienced what that was like going down to Austin. It's not very cool.
Nope.
Yep. So good job for Ford stepping up. Like I said, in times of uncertainty, these automakers are, I think Ford was one of the ones that first came out and, announced that they were going to do employee pricing during this time for the next, several months. So kudos, and hopefully our people across the pond will take advantage of this.
Yeah. Moving on, Chargepoint has showed off their, quote, next-gen units. So Chargepoint this week has showed off their newest chargers for their home customers. And the biggest upgrade to come on this is that these new chargers will support up to 80 amps or 19.2 kilowatts in North America, assuming you have an EV with an 80 amp onboard charger. These new units are also going to feature ChargePoint's OmniPort, which allows the end user to quickly switch from J1772 to NACS with the built-in adapter on the handle. And I mean, you can see a picture of the level 2 version there. They also have an OmniPort for CCS that's actually pretty neat. So when you swipe your ChargePoint card, it uses whatever car you have set up in your ChargePoint app to determine if you need the adapter or not, and will just automatically, like, if you have a NACS native vehicle in your account and you swipe your ChargePoint card, it'll automatically put the NACS adapter on there without you actually selecting it on the screen.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool.
Cool.
What if you have 2 cars in there? I guess whichever one you have selected at the moment, I guess.
That's a great question.
Yeah. I toggle back and forth. Yeah, now I toggle back and forth with different cars in the ChargePoint app. So I'm sure it's a way to whatever car is highlighted, that's the car that's using. Yeah, I mean, we're starting to see a bunch of stuff come out with chargers lately. You're getting which one are you getting? Sebastian's getting a new charger, everyone. What are you getting?
I am getting a new charger. I am getting a new charger from Emporia, and I'm not 100% sure how much I'm allowed to talk about yet. So I'm just going to say that.
She's got a new charger from Emporia, and we're excited about it. So yes.
Yeah, the one other topic on the this for ChargePoint is that they are also planning for these new units to support V2X. However, that standard is still a hot mess, so who knows what it works with or how it will work, or like you can say it's going to support V2X, but every vehicle seems to implement it differently and blah 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 blah. So
that is true. I mean, any new charging is better than no charging at all.
For sure. All right. And our final real topic of the night is that Toyota has some pretty ambitious EV plans. Toyota plans to launch 10 new EV models globally by 2027. It currently sells 5. Currently, Toyota builds its EVs in China and Japan, but they are expressing interest in adding production in the US, Thailand, and Argentina. Toyota plans to launch a new 3-row EV for the U.S. market in 2026, with production expected to take place in Kentucky and Indiana. They are also expected to begin shipping batteries from their new battery plant in North Carolina soon. In the U.S., Toyota currently sells the BZ4X, the lowercase b, capital Z, number 4, capital X, and the Lexus RZ. And then in overseas, you add in the CHR Plus, the Urban Cruiser, and the BZ3 family of vehicles, which is a mixture of cars that they co-developed with BYD or GAC. So yeah, I mean, it'll be interesting to see what these 10 new models are, how many do we get in the US or whatever. And I mean, if Toyota is truly learning from their EVs currently, hopefully these are good. You know, they've announced some pretty promising improvements for the BZ4X and incidentally then the Solterra as well, about like adding things like built-in route planning, manual preconditioning, one-pedal driving. You know, really revolutionary features here that they're actually talking about adding.
Maybe
So,
some ventilating and heated seats.
hey, the BZ4X and the Solterra both have that already.
We drove a Solterra. We'll get to that in a little bit. So yeah, they had them both.
But yeah, so maybe if they continue to add these kind of basic EV features,
yes,
by the time they launch these 10, we'll be happy with them and everyone will be great. Yeah. We'll see.
Yeah, I guess my issue is that Toyota's just a lot of talking. Like I've read articles like Toyota has a battery that gets you 800 miles. I mean, just a lot of. I just do something. I guess I'm the kind of a show me person. Just do something. You know,
Toyota has a revolutionary solid state battery.
Yes.
We're not putting it in anything, but we promise it exists.
Yes, we have it. We promise. It's revolutionary. It's huge, but I mean, they haven't done anything with it yet. So I mean, I don't know. I mean, I thought by now they'd have more than just one model out by now.
Yeah,
but I guess not. That's Toyota for you.
I guess not. That's Toyota.
Yep. All right, Sebastian, what we've been driving? Start us off.
Where do we even start?
Do we start high end? Or
do we just say them in order? Do we just start with whatever?
So we'll start with the pretty. So first one we drove, courtesy of Porsche Little Rock, was the Macan Electric.
The Macan Turbo Electric.
Macan Turbo Electric. So yeah. So yeah, I mean, anytime you can drive a Porsche, why not? I mean, so what were your thoughts on that? Don't give too much away. Just tease people.
So just like it's a Porsche, so obviously it was fun, right?
Yeah.
And it was nice.
Mm-hmm.
And because it's a Volkswagen, there's some EV stuff that it doesn't do that you're like, what the heck?
Yep.
But then there's other things it does that are just like really, really well thought out and well engineered and well designed, and like it makes perfect sense.
Yep.
It's a very German car.
It's a very German car. I would say my highlight of reviewing the Macan in the Taycan was just being in the showroom of Porsche Little Rock and seeing some guy buy a $500,000 car that was sold and things like that. But yeah. So yeah, I mean, it was a good car. It was it was nice. It had some give and go to it. Like I said, it was a turbo. It was stupid fast. But yeah, I mean, I liked it. Like I said, there's some things that does great. There's some things you kind of go, wonder why it doesn't do that. Then you realize it's a Volkswagen, so they're the Volkswagen family, so that's why it does it. So
yeah, and like the next stuff that does super well, like the augmented reality heads-up display was really freaking cool.
Was so cool,
and just like it was comfortable. It was well sorted on the highway. Porsche is so weird with their option packaging and everything, and it's a little like hard to really quantify what the heck we actually drove.
Yeah,
because Porsche's also weird about window stickers.
Yep.
And so I only bring that up because, small spoiler alert, you and I both made a comment that we thought the Macan was loud on the inside. And then come to find out, well, that's because there's a $930 option on the Macan to add thermally and noise insulated glass.
Mm-hmm.
Why?
Yeah.
This is a $130,000 car. Why would you have a $930 option to make the car quieter?
I know. I mean,
it doesn't make any sense.
I can feel like if you go in and buy a Porsche, it'd be like an a la carte menu. Like you'd have the Porsche and you have all these boxes that you'd have to check. Do you want this? Do you want the spoiler? Yes. What logo do you want on the back? Do you want to say Macan? Do you want to say Porsche? Do you want to say, what do you want? I mean, and that would drive me nuts. And then I would just realize in the back of my head, all this stuff just adding up. But there's not a lot of people. I mean, we didn't see anyone there just walk in and buy a Porsche off the lot. I mean, first off, they didn't have a lot. I mean, but people who are buying Porsches aren't buying them just like, hey, what 3 do you have in stock? I'm going to pick one out. They're usually, made to order, spec to order.
Yeah.
So, and we noticed that sound thing because we got in the Taycan, and the Taycan was a lot quieter. Like, why is the Taycan? I mean, we know, Macan was on, I believe, was the Macan on bigger wheels? No, the Taycan was on.
Mm-hmm.
Taycan had the different, the one side in the front. Yeah, there was the offset size of the wheels. So, then we got the Taycan, and I was like, wow, this is so quiet. And that was just a base model for the most part. It did have some add-ons.
It had some options on it, but it was a Taycan rear-wheel drive.
Yep.
With the big battery. It did have the big battery option.
And I think, it didn't, it had I think the option was for like the glass roof. That was one option that was on there.
It had a couple,
spoiler.
It had some premium packages and stuff. And again, another example of Porsche. It's a $100,000 car.
Yeah.
One of the packages of the car added adaptive cruise control.
Mm-hmm.
The base MSRP of the Taycan is $99,000.
Mm-hmm.
You're telling me that there is a reality in which someone could spend $100,000 on a Taycan and not get adaptive cruise control?
Mm-hmm.
Are you kidding me?
Mm-hmm.
But the Taycan we did drive had on the window sticker, because that one actually had a window sticker on the inside of the car. It did have the thermal and noise insulated glass option, and that's when we were driving on the highway. We're like, oh yeah, this is way quieter. This is way better. And I mean, that one, even though it was the slower one, it was just a base rear wheel drive. I preferred that over the Macan.
I did too. I prefer the Taycan.
It was harder to get in and out of.
Oh yeah, but I mean, especially for me because I'm old and I'm tall. But yeah, it was easier. It was hard. It was like getting out of it. The set real low to the ground, and you had to, it had the option to raise it if you went over a speed bump or a tall threshold or something like that. You could hit a button and raise. Had some cool features like that, and we'll talk about all that in the video whenever we do release it here in a couple weeks. And then we end the day with
We ended the day with the car a lot easier to get in and out of.
Yeah, a lot easier to let it get out of. We weren't dragging it down the road. And it's a car we've been harsh on here. And it was the Subaru Solterra, courtesy of Subaru of Little Rock, or Little Rock Subaru, I forget which one it is. And yeah, I mean, we had opinions going in on the Subaru. I mean, everyone has their opinions on the Solterra. I mean, we just got on talking about the BZ4X, which is his brother from another mother. But I wasn't like, I mean, it was fine. I mean, nothing wowed me, but nothing I was like, oh, this is horrible. I mean, so it was just fine. I mean,
yeah, I mean, obviously there's some stuff it doesn't do awesome, right?
Yeah.
Like on paper the range is pretty poor. On paper the charging is not amazing. There's some stuff like we were just talking about, how the current iteration doesn't do EV route planning. Mm-hmm. It doesn't even have built-in navigation unless you pay for a subscription.
Mm-hmm.
Just period. You have a navigation tab on the infotainment system that just taunts you the whole time you have the car unless you're paying for the subscription.
I mean, you can't even see the map.
Yeah, it just tells you that you're poor and don't have navigation.
See where you're at. Yeah. So I mean,
and so,
but it has a purpose. It has a purpose.
Yeah, and ultimately, I thought there was a lot of things that I was like, oh, this is fine. This is not bad at all. They did a good job. This is well thought out. But yeah, I definitely came away from it with a much higher opinion than I went in with. And I mean, I was pretty clear at the beginning of the video, but I was keeping an open mind to it. It was like, okay, there's got to be something to it, right?
Yep. Especially
when we were talking, I believe, in our last episode about how sales of them this last quarter were almost 200% what they were year over year. Mm-hmm. Which I understand there's crazy lease deals and stuff, and that might be what's getting a lot of people into them, but I know that's not what's getting everybody into them.
Yeah.
And
and you kind of mentioned in the video, I'm like, if you just need, for my wife, she was asking about, because I showed pictures oh, that's pretty. I was like, well, it doesn't charge real fast, and it doesn't do this, doesn't do that. She's like, I don't need that, which is true. She doesn't need that. I mean, she drives her car 10 miles from work, 10 miles to work and 10 miles back, and that's all she uses it for. She doesn't care about charging speed. She doesn't care about, the sound system. She doesn't care about things like that. She cares about some of the things like that. She doesn't have heated and cold seats. That's what she cares about, and it did. So, I mean, that's what's important to her,
And it had the driver's assistance stuff, Subaru Solterra comes standard with adaptive cruise control.
And a Porsche doesn't.
It comes standard with lane keeping or lane tracing and all that. And It had a digital rearview mirror.
It did, and the Porsche did not. So yeah. So I mean, just some weird things like that. You're like, oh, it's cool, digital mirror, cool. I like that. So yeah.
But yeah, so I came away from the Solterra
pleasantly surprised.
Yes. And so I'm sure there's a couple people that are in here will be in the comments saying, "See, told you so," and I admit you told me so.
Yes. And when I was in the groups asking the Solterra people, what should I look for? Do you have any feedback for me? And most of them said, don't believe what you read. Drive it. It has a purpose. Honestly, if you put the Solterra, the ID4, and the Nissan Leaf, I would probably pick the Solterra just because there's a lot of things about the ID4 I don't like. And the Nissan Leaf, it's just, it has like 10-year-old tech in it for me. And that doesn't do it for me, but it doesn't for some people. So yeah, I mean, it's got a purpose.
Yep. All right. Well, that is a wrap for today's episode. Thank you all for plugging into the Friday Charge. Be sure to subscribe to the EV Geek podcast on YouTube and tap the notification icon to be notified about new releases. Next week, we will release our review of the Hummer EV Omega Edition, as well as a discussion with our friend Doug about the highs and lows of EV ownership in rural Arkansas. If you have any thoughts or questions, drop them in the comments below because we would love to hear from you. So long, everyone, and we will see you again on the next episode of The Friday Charge.